And that's when I pulled the body out of the river. That's right.
It's a natural, bro. We're already having a conversation. We're talking about how you are fine with going out at 11 p.m. and
Yeah.
I absolutely will not. I don't like after I cut the line at like 8. I think there's like maybe you can get me out at 8:30, but after 9, I'm like, no, fuck you. Like,
I
I'll
love going
stay out after 9, but I won't go out at 9.
I'll be honest with you. I will I enjoy going out. Like, I get angry when people are like, "Oh, it's 2:00. We're shutting down." I'm like, "Why are you guys such losers?" I'm like, "It's just 2:00 in the morning." Like, why would you bother?
The only time I'm mad to go home at 2:00 is when I'm at the strip club. I'm like, this is the type of business that needs to be 24 hours.
Also, 100%. Yeah. No, it's all that kind of stuff.
Bring in the next shift.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm tired of these girls anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Bring in the new ones. I mean, that's that. I remember once, me and a bunch of guys, we were all underage, and we ended up going at like in the afternoon, and it was just us hanging with the waitresses, and then girls were like, "All right, we'll go on stage," and they did, and sure enough, it was horrible.
It's pretty depressing. The daytime shift strip club.
Oh yeah,
some of them are a little bit older, and I don't mean like, oh, they're like in their 30s. I mean like 40s and 50s, where that's kind of sad. Like,
100% sad.
Like, where did you go wrong? Where you're a stripper at 40, you know?
It's the same thing. Like, some people are just like, yeah, they're like, "Oh, I'm a bartender," and you're like, "You should be at home with your grandkids. That's not. You shouldn't be here."
I don't know, because like a bartender's a little bit different. Like, because like especially if you own the bar, like, but like if you're trying to be like one of those like twirly mustached bartenders, fine. The ones that does all the tricks, that's a little gay. But like if you're like, I've been bartending this bar since Nam, and my buddies died, and they didn't come back, and I'm still bartending here because I'm a fucking man, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and those are the times when you're just like, I don't. Okay, man, just you be you. I don't know what to do about you. It's very confusing. But
so you don't like bartenders, huh? You don't got respect for bartenders?
No, I don't. Are front butts a deal breaker for you guys? I mean,
yeah, 100%.
I feel like there's a lot of options before that happens. So,
right.
But, just that's so everyone,
that's last call type shit.
Yeah, that's who's still here.
That's 2:00 at the strip club.
Yeah. So everyone knows what we're talking about today is
emotional damage.
That's perfect. What's important, okay? Just so everybody knows. And the result from some of that stuff is basically...
No, Uncle Lucius, I don't want to play in the laundry room. My emotions.
That's so, just to be clear.
Scoutmaster Kevin.
I mean, listen, I found those earlier, and I was like, I'm definitely including those because emotional damage is one of my favorites to send to my wife because she's Chinese, and it just makes sense. Because she doesn't have emotions. That's fine.
I an interracial relationship and you're racist. I've never understood that.
Oh, it's outside of outside of Canada and the United States, everyone is racist. That is. I feel like a lot of people are like, no, they're not. You're like, oh, yes, they are. Like aggressively. And you'll go to some countries and people are mean.
Racism here is like the difference between bullying in the 80s and bullying now. Like.
Yeah. Because people suck at it right now. Like, bro, you had to be in the 80s and 90s. You had to be creative. Okay, it's just okay. Fupa face number 1, weird name. You guys can't lift up my droopy undercarriage and get to work. No, why would that be an option? We're 2 dudes. It's a confusing thing. I don't know what's your deal. See, I honestly feel like a lot of people don't understand their emotions, right? And it's the same thing like people like Fupa Face, who's like, I'm just gonna say whatever comes to mind because I'm cool. You're like, no, you're not. You're a horrible person, and you should really talk to somebody because you're a weirdo. Bryce Pascal, can you get a shout out? Sure. Shout out to Bryce Pascal. Make sure you subscribe and like both of our channels. This one, Sniffing Glue 22, and Dino the Jack Marvel. Otherwise, God won't love you.
What up, Bryce?
Yeah, Bryce. I went to school with a guy named Bryce.
We all did. Bryce is like that, like NPC character that you went to school with.
Maybe he did have really blonde hair, which is always weird. I went to
Was it real?
No, it was real.
He's a Matrix character for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I went to school with the one guy who had like he wasn't an albino, but he had like silver blonde hair and like barely any eyebrows. And I was like, "You're weird," and he's like, "Nah." And he was always so acted like a black guy, which I'm like, "That's weird." It was very confusing. Yeah. Fupa Face, you have weird questions, bro. You should talk to somebody. We're talking about emotional management. You, sir, prime candidate for that stuff. Because let's be honest, it's like that's a weird thing to do. I always find it weird when people are like, "I'm gonna just say what's on my mind." Nobody wants to hear that.
I do that though.
Yeah, but you're also the things you say that with is like, that was the time I wrestled an alligator. You're like, what the hell, right?
Well, yeah, it's off the wall.
Listen, if your doctor sent you to us guys, you need a better doctor or better, insurance.
Doctor doesn't love you.
No, your doctor is tricking you, and you should report it. This is a bad person.
You need to file a malpractice suit.
I always love when I used to be a real person when I had a job, and people would be like, somebody sent me your way to figure this out, and I'm like, oh, that was probably a mistake. You should definitely not do that. I don't want to help anybody. Bryce said, yeah, just subscribed and like both your channels. Thank you, Bryce. We appreciate you.
Bryce. Appreciate you.
We are talking about managing emotions, emotional management, which I think is important.
Specifically regulating your emotions and things like that.
Yeah.
As a man, because for me, this kind of got brought up because I have a son who's about 8 years old. He'll be 9 next month. Actually, no, this month. Oh shit, he's gonna be 8 in 2 weeks. Fuck, or 9 in 2 weeks. And he's still in that phase between phases where he kind of like throws a fit every once in a while.
Yep.
And then I had to kind of like break him down a little bit, and I was like, dude, you can't do that anymore. Like you're a big kid. Not only that, he's like 5 foot tall, which is pretty big for a 9-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna freak people out.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna freak out a lot of small people. And I hate to break it to you, but small people run the world. Like they just do.
They fit into very little places. And that's
between women and Jewish people, they run the world,
That's basically it. No, well, so this is the thing is I was raised because I was always a giant amongst my peers. And my parents are like, don't ever touch anyone. Never. Just don't touch anyone. And it resulted in me getting bullied. And I was like, I don't know what to do. They're like, hit him back. And I'm like, you guys told me not to hit people. They're like, yeah, you hit somebody if they hit you back. And I'm like, I could have used that information in advance. Thank you. Hold on. What's up, Atlas? My vice principal is tiny and she scares the shit out of me. Yeah, you know what? I always look at.
Come on.
Okay, the principal.
You have a timid personality, though.
Also true.
That's on you.
But like, I always think about the principal from Kindergarten Cop, who's like a tiny little lady that walks around with a very large stick, and her large stick is Arnold Schwarzenegger. It makes sense. Atlas, I tower over her. Her shadow towers over me. Oh, fuck you. She signs my checks. Yeah, that's fine.
That has never stopped me from saying a single thing. That's how I ended up a DoorDasher and a podcaster, though, to be fair. So
same here. Yeah, that's
I buy it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I talk shit to anybody and everybody.
Yeah. No. I will give you the respect that you're owed because you sign my checks, but as soon as you're out of line, I will check that. Like that's not.
Right.
Yeah. And you're like, oh well, maybe she does. But like, what planet are you on? That doesn't make any sense. And they're like, you can't talk to me like that. I'm like, yeah, no, you're saying stupid shit. I can talk to you any way I want. Thank you very much. Right.
That's another manage your emotions type of situation too. Because there's also situations where you have a boss who like the guy or the woman who signed your checks.
Yeah.
Knows the business. That's why they're signing your checks. And then there's people who sign your checks because they just own the business. You know what I mean? So like you kind of have to like when they tell you something, you have to kind of like, okay, like like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Okay, but that's the thing. To her credit, she's a pretty solid boss. As a solid boss,
that's good.
I have no problem. If you have my back,
scared then.
Yeah. I feel like he's seen her like destroy somebody, and that always freaks people out, right? Because nobody wants to be on the end of the shit stick, right? And especially when you see somebody get hit with a shit stick, you're like, I don't want to be next. I don't want to be involved, right?
I don't handle those situations well because like if I feel like I don't deserve it, then I'm gonna talk shit back and be like, you're not gonna talk to me like that. But if I feel like I do deserve it, I'm gonna laugh.
Which is absolutely infuriating. Let's be honest. Yeah, that's when you've done something wrong and then you laugh about it. Yeah, people.
No, really it's not even when I've done something wrong. It's then when they're yelling at me because I deserve it, because I'm stupid or whatever. I fucked up. I start laughing that they're yelling at me because I don't know how to.
Yeah,
like
that's fine. And yes, a math teacher last year, he got the pink slip. Yeah, listen, that is always an issue, right? But like. This is the thing is, unless you're a piece of shit, I'm like, I don't worry about it. But like, this is the thing is, I remember my first week on the job when I worked at a bank. This lady came into my office and I was like, sorry, I'm waiting for somebody to help me figure out how to do this. And she's like, I'll tell you, do this, do this, do this. And I'm like, okay, stop. I lock my computer, I back up, and I'm like, you're not going to talk to me like that. Number one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I go, I'm going to figure it out and I'll bring it to you when it's done. But you are never going to talk to me like that again. That's not going to happen. And she goes, oh. I'm like, that's it. You can leave now. Get out. And she was, hey, so she left and I'm waiting for my boss to call. At the same time, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do for her. Cause I'm like literally 3 days into the job. And my boss calls me and she goes, okay, tell me what happened. I'm like, okay. So she came in here. She started bossing me around and talking down to me. And I don't think that that's fair. And I'm not going to work under somebody who treats me like that. They need to be told that they can't do that. And she goes, are you going to quit? I'm like, should I quit? I didn't do anything wrong. And she's like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, and this was my first manager in like that corporate environment. And she was awesome. She would always fight for me. And I go, why should I quit? I didn't do anything wrong. She's like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. She's like, are you willing to keep on working? I'm like, absolutely. Why wouldn't I? And she was like, do you know how many people have quit like within a week of working with that woman? And I'm like, I don't.
So it's not like she's the problem.
Yeah, but they're like,
but out.
She made money, so nobody's gonna do anything. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, no, I can work under her, but I just had to explain to her that you're not gonna talk to me like that.
Okay, but even if she makes money, you kind of have to weigh that against how much money you're losing when you lose everybody else around her. You know what I mean?
Like, I was her administrator. So like I just did all of her paperwork and all that kind of stuff. Like I would call for appointments. So like I was her
secretary.
Associate is what they called it. But that was because if they called you an assistant, then some advisors would be like, "Oh, can you go get my dry cleaning stuff?" And yeah, go get my coffee and stuff. And you're like, "That no. You're an associate. You do all the associate work for
you do the work.
Yeah. You're here to work, not to slave after them. Yeah,
production for the business.
Aid to come. Yeah. So, yeah, and I was like, I was good at the job. It was fine, but working in a bank sucks anyway. So that's the truth of it. But like. That's why when people act like that, you're like, oh, no. You're not going to talk to me like that. I don't care who you are. You're like, well, I'm in charge. I'm like, and that gives you what authority? Like, that's like, I loved in Dark Knight Rises when Bane puts his hand on the guy's shoulder. He's like, and you think that gives you power over me? And you're like, no, bro. That is exactly it. You're like, I'm sorry. Just because you're in charge. Yeah.
That movie came out in June of 2012. In April of 2012 is when I turned 18. So that kind of like that scene alone right there kind of molded me how I wanted to be as an adult. Oh, your money doesn't mean shit to me, bro.
No,
Like, I'm
no,
glad I have it and I'll work very hard for it, but you ain't gonna just talk to me any type of way.
no, no. That and you know what? Like that has gone too far. Like people are like, I'm rich, I could do whatever I want. You're like, no, you can't. I'm sorry. You're not gonna talk to me like that. And I've had like I was a waiter, somebody tried to do that. I'm like, you're not gonna talk to me like that. Sorry. And they're like, yeah, but I'm like, no. This conversation's over. You learn how to talk to people and then we can have a conversation. But until then,
like that's a big part of managing your emotions is being able to explain to people that they're fucking up this situation without freaking out on them. Because a lot of people, that's where a lot of people go. Like you said, the lady said that a lot of people end up quitting and like probably losing their shit at this lady or whoever. When you can just say, "Don't talk to me like that," you know what I mean? It's very, very simple.
Right.
Don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to anyone like that. Actually,
yeah.
Like, but especially me. I don't care about everybody else really, but you shouldn't talk to anybody like that. But definitely don't do it to me.
Yeah, you can talk to if you have people in your life that you can talk to like that. That's fine. You go talk to them. But me is not one of them. That's very simple. And I think you're absolutely right. Is like the idea of being able to say, "Hey, you know what? I don't like the way you're talking to me, and I'm not okay with this. I'll leave. That's fine. But you're not going to talk to me like that. That's just not." Yeah. And Atlas, yes, we are doing some things differently. And just so you know, this is specifically for you right here.
Emotional damage.
That's just for you specifically. But yeah, like I feel like because a lot of people, like you said, their reaction is like, I don't do this, I quit. And you're like, no. You just have to set a boundary. Go, hey, I'm not okay with you talking to me like that. You come back to me. So when people start freaking out and they're like, hey, figure out your own shit. You're not going to talk to me like that. That's not how that. You're welcome. There you go.
I mean, let's break it down to the simplest of terms. Do you think that the cavemen were able to just quit their job whenever one of them was getting on the other's nerve? No, they would kill you. They would kill you, leave your body there to decay while they went and got the mammoth. You're not going back to the tribe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a different job. I'll be a gatherer now. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So, and this is the thing is having boundaries goes every which way. Is you're not gonna like, and that's one of the things, Atlas. Like, I like the idea that you don't have to be aggressive, you don't have to be mean, you don't have to be any of those things to be like, hey, I'm not okay with the way you're talking to me, so we're not going to talk from here on in. That's fine. Because it's like, hey, absolutely not. Like people, and I feel this happens a lot, is especially with little people, like short people, that they start getting louder to try and seem intimidating. And this was the thing, like when I was working at the haunted house, and it was all like drama school people, and they're like, be scary, and they're like, I'm like, that's not scary. Let's calm down. Like I'm like, this murder face, this is scary. I'll just look at you right into your soul and just be like,
it's got lion from the Wizard of Oz like vibes to it.
Yeah. And you're like, that's not, I don't, yeah, you can stand up for yourself without being no, absolutely not. And that's the thing is like, I've been in a situation where I'm like, hey, you're not going to talk to me like that. And people go, or what? I'm like, I'll leave. They're like, oh yeah, don't you want to do something? I'm like, no, I'll just leave. And they're like, oh, do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, over there. I don't want to be in this conversation. That's not. And then they're like, yeah. And I had one guy push me, and I didn't move. And I'm like, please don't touch me. Let's just don't do that. I'm not okay with that. And then they did again, and well,
my favorite line when people want to fight, you want to fight? And I'm like, not really. Like,
yeah. Bro, okay, walkie-talkies are neat. I had a client be very rude to me. I asked him if he would like to talk face-to-face at the office. I recited his address. His tone quickly changed. Oh, bro, so I was working at the bank, and this is the thing. Being an associate, you get to do all the shitty calls of people not being approved and stuff like that, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, you got to bring in extra documentation. And they're like, oh, I already brought documentation. Yeah, I know you need extra. This is you get those shit calls. And one guy I had to call that he was not approved for what he was trying to do. And sure enough, the advisors are like, okay, is this guy a dick? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, and you don't want to make the call? They're like, yeah. So you're going to do it. Okay, no problem. So I got on the phone and I'm like, listen, I was asked to call you. I'm so-and-so's associate, and I need to let you know that this isn't going to be forward. Like all the numbers have been run and it's just not going to go forward. He goes, and he started freaking out. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to come down there and show you who you're dealing with. And I was like, okay, well, you just come to the front and you ask for Dino and I will come up. I am in the basement, so no problem. And somebody like 10 minutes later comes running downstairs, like, because I was where my office was, I could look to see the stairs, and the stairs were like super loud. So I hear somebody walking down the stairs, like like an elephant falling down the stairs. And they're like, hey, Dino, there's a guy upstairs and he is like primed for murder. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I was with him. I'm like, it's so-and-so, right? They're like, yeah, he is pissed. And he's like, I want to see this guy right now. And I'm like, okay. I go, just bear with me 1 second. I go straighten my tie because I'm in the basement. So I'm like, my tie's open and everything. I'm like, no problem. Yeah. Put on my blazer, walk upstairs, and I'm wearing a 3-piece suit, right? I walk upstairs and I'm like, hi, what can I do for you? I'm like, hi, we talked on the phone. I go to put my hand on shake and he shakes my hand. And he's like, so I was hoping to get some clarification on what we talked about. And I'm like, absolutely. Let's go to this office and see if we can find a solution. And I'm like, bro, I towered over this man. Like, he was a quarter of me. So it's like, he'd have to be 4 people of him to amount to me. And I'm like, yeah, what can I do for you? And he was like, I just had questions. I'm like, yeah, sure. Happy to help. And I'm like, that's it. Just
that reminds me of last year. I was pulling into somebody's driveway to drop off an order, right? I'm a DoorDasher, okay? I'm not ashamed of it. Shame me all you want. But I was pulling in, and then right at the same time, this mailman was trying to like walk across the driveway. Yeah. And so he saw me and stopped. And I went like this. I went, just like waved him so to know he would go across. And he kind of like dropped his shoulders. And so I waved him again. I was like, come on, man, like go. Yeah. Like, you can go, we can both do our job. And then he just like standing there, like starting to get like pissed off. So I rolled my window. I was like, come on, dude, let's go. He's like, what are you waving at me for? And I'm like, to tell you to go. Like, what are you not understanding? He's like, you want to go? And I just like got out of the car. I was like, if you want to. And then he saw how big I was and then just started walking away. Like, started walking across. He walked across where I told him to walk.
Yeah. Like, that's okay. That's a very American thing. I am a hero by beating, chewing someone out. You see it in like revenge porn. I said, yeah, it's not necessary. Like, this is the thing is anyone who's been in a fight does not want to be one in it again, right? It's the same people, the idea that people who have been to war are like, yeah, you don't want war. War sucks. It's horrible. You don't want that, right? And people who have never, they're like, oh, I would be a hero. You're like, bro, you'd get shot in 3 seconds. Just calm down. Relax, okay? I'm extra of it, but not everything is a climax in a movie. I mean, that's true. What's up, Serge? Welcome, brother. But yeah, it's like that's the problem is especially the way I carry myself, being a big bastard, right? Like I look at people, I'm like, hey, why are you so dumb? Don't do that. That's ridiculous. And I have people like, hey, I don't want you to call me dumb. And I'm like, I appreciate that. And I'll do my best, but you got to understand that what you're doing is dumb. So I'm going to call it out, right? Because I want you to be better. And they're like, all right. And I'm like, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but like, you got to shape up. I'm sorry, right?
So every fight I ever got in, I just thought about this. DoorDash, door smash. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Every fight I've ever got in, I didn't necessarily start. I said some shit that pissed people off because I'm always going for the punchline. You know what I mean? You see how I am with you. I roast. I roast you sometimes. Maybe I go a little hard with some people.
Sure.
But every fight that I've ever been in, I was sitting down when I got hit. Nobody. Once I stand up, nobody wants to fight. You know what I mean? But by then, you already hit me. I'm tough to fight you now. Like I'm up. You know what I mean? Like you can't just hit me sitting down and then you're like, I don't want to fight anymore. You just hit me, man.
I believe. Listen, there's a good chance that Cole is Roger Rabbit. Like, there's no question.
What is that? I don't know.
You don't know who Roger Rabbit is?
That movie. I know what Roger Rabbit is. I've never seen it though. What is the reference?
Essentially, is if you're funny, people can't fight. That's it. If you're funny enough, it's fine, and nothing will happen.
I mean, a lot of times that's gotten me out of situations where, like, it's gotten me out of situations with cops. Yeah. It's gotten me out of situations. It's gotten me out of fights being funny, but it's also gotten me into fights.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So
I feel like my face and giant body have gotten me out of numerous interactions like that. Just because I'll make a joke and they're like, "Well, you want to go?" And I'm like, "All right." And they're like, "Oh, fuck no, no, absolutely not." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, that's fine."
Well,
but you offered, not me. I
I
don't.
think I give off small man energy though.
Is it the hands? Is that one?
No, I don't throw my weight around. I don't stand up like
Yeah.
a I don't like people forget how big I am, even when I'm like next like I mean even you, like you're a little bit
Yeah,
taller than me, but like I
yeah,
don't come off as a big guy and then like when I'm in your face, you're like, oh, you're a lot bigger than I remember. Like
yeah. It's very much you don't come off as big, and then you kind of zoom in when you get up close, and you're like, "Oh, you're not a tiny person. That's fine." You know?
right, right. A
Uh,
lot of people think I'm a lot smaller than I am, but
where I look big from every angle. People are like, "You're not going to fit in a car. We need a truck or something. You can lie down in the flatbed. That's fine." It's yeah. People just assume they're like, "Oh, there's no way you're." I even now, I'll be honest with you, I've started like walking through areas and I'll turn sideways, and Victoria's like, "Why'd you do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, just so I can fit." She's like, "You fit fine," and I'm like, "Don't take this away from me. I'm not. It's weird. Okay, I think I'm bigger. Let's just leave it at that." But yeah, no, it's I this is one of the things that I feel like people that peacock with the idea of like, "Oh, you know, badass I am." You're like, bro, every time I've met somebody who has cauliflower ear, they do not react quickly. And they just go, "Okay, that's fine. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." And you're going, "Yeah, you don't get cauliflower ear by having like, oh, I took a class at one point." You're like, "No, no. It's I did this, 4 hours a day for the last 6 years, and that's my experience." You're like, "Yeah, that's the guy you don't want to deal with. That's not."
yeah, you don't fuck with someone who's cauliflower.
Cole is 5'11", 2 different measurements. That's it. There you go.
That's definitely my dick size, but I'm actually a quarter inch shy of 6'1", so
Yeah.
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 I
He's
barely make the cut for all these bitches to think I'm a man.
yeah, he's 5'13", if ladies ask.
5'13".
Yeah, that's it.
5'13" and 3/4.
3/4. There you go. That's fine. Yeah. No. It's one of those, like, a lot of the times, yeah, like people always try and search it, and especially in comedy where people get really angry. And like, if because I will Serge, I'm 6'1", only in the pants.
You
That's
got
no,
me by this much, Serge. You got me by this
literally,
much.
literally. But yeah, no, like, especially like I've roasted people in the audience and they're like, "Fuck you, man," and I'm like, I'm Greek, not that Greek, and they're like, "I didn't mean like that," and I'm like, "You kind of did though, and I'm not interested, just so you know." And they get more angry, and then I'm like, "What are you gonna do about it?" I'm like, "Well," I'm like, "You don't want to do that. I'll hurt you." It's Sergio, like, "Let's fight." Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
I'll fight you. I don't care. Let's go. Let's keep
Test the
keep it friendly.
spirits. They are of Yah. Hello, test the spirits. They are of Yah. It's your boy. Yeah. Do you know we should go to a kids jujitsu class in Rec House? So, okay. So, last summer, a friend
Oh,
of
my
mine.
kid's taking jujitsu. Hey, go to his.
I will. I'll take on the whole class. So, I went. A friend of mine was getting another belt, or they were having like a family day kind of thing. So everybody brought their families and everything, and they were demonstrating stuff. And it was her and her daughter are both in this jujitsu class. And I'm like, "Good for you guys. It's good. You should learn how to be able to throw a punch and throw a kick. Those are important things." And there was a girl who was getting a belt, her next belt, and the test for that was that she had to take on 3 people. And she was a frumpy lady. Like, she did not look youthful or in shape. And bro, she got hit in the face a bunch of times. And I was like, "Ooh, that's smarts." I'm like, I am like, have you ever watched the videos of like 2 Tai Chi masters going at it? And you're like, so it lasts all of 3 seconds with a formal like, "Ooh," and then it's just a fucking slap fight. They just get angry and start punching. And you're going, yeah, that's how that works. Like, it all your training and stuff, it doesn't really last when people get butt hurt and then start going. It's going to drop to 18 degrees today, bro. So we've already been getting little bits of snow here and there here. So you got a lot of snow, right, Cole?
It's gonna keep going till Saturday.
Hey, up north of Toronto right now, there's an entire highway like which is the
There's
main.
nothing north of Toronto. Don't lie to me.
Well, that's the point. So
Start
all
telling
these
me about blinker fluid next.
all of these semis, like they're stuck. Yeah. So it's it's not Muskoka, it's Muskoka, which is like cottage country, like rich bitch.
Muskoka, that sounds like some kind of name for marijuana.
Like an Adirondack chair is also called a Muskoka chair, just so you understand. But yeah, they got 1.4 meters, which is like 9 feet of snow. So like there are semis that are just stuck on the road.
Jesus, 9 feet?
No, it's like 4 feet, 5 feet. But yeah.
Okay, but then why'd you say 9?
Because I just wanted to make fun of you, not knowing what a meter is. That's all. That's it's the same reason when I go
like 3 feet-ish.
It's the same reason when you're like, that was like $5 American. I'm like, that's like $27 Canadian. It's not. It's it's close. It's like 15, but still,
a meter is like a yard, bro. I know.
Yeah, in and around. Yeah, it's about there. So like, yeah, it's about 5 feet of snow, and like it paralyzed the entire highway. And the worst part is like, at a time when we pay the most taxes ever, they're like, oh, there aren't enough services, and you're like, then why didn't you spend that money you've been taking, you greedy bitches, and hire?
That's how it is here. That's how it is here. No,
yeah.
Like sidewalks don't even get shoveled anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
bro, this is the frustrating part about everything, right? Is like people are taking the most amount of money from everything, right? Like you get taxed on your income, then you get taxed on your housing, you get taxed on spending money. You're like, how about eat shit and die? That's take your taxes and shove it up your ass. There's no representation at all. Some might say, taxation without representation is reason for shenanigans, but
a revolution.
I've heard that before.
Say it.
I believe it's in history.
Not your history.
I mean,
you motherfuckers let the Brits come through y'all in 1812 to try and take it all back. So I don't want to hear your shit.
Long live the king, sir. Long live the king. That's just sorry.
Y'all still drink tea with your pinky out.
That's because we're fancy, not because we have a king.
That's because y'all are posh.
Autocorrect Muskoka to Muslim 3 times and I gave up. That's fair. I understand. I am this close to pull a Wesley Snipes and stop paying taxes. I mean, they can't catch all of us if we stop paying.
I feel like if everybody just went and did a 1099 job and then just didn't pay their taxes, the government wouldn't know how to act. The government would not just go cash or 1099 or become a waiter or something and just watch as the government is like, but we can't, like they would just lose their shit.
Like, that's the biggest problem is the fact that they will just be like, oh, we're just going to print more money. You're like, yeah, don't do that. That is a huge mistake as well. Like this is the problem that we're in right now, right? Is that
everything that Joe Biden did was the wrong decision. I swear to God, he did not do a single good thing.
I mean,
name one good thing. And I was a Democrat when he was voted in. Like I considered myself a liberal when he won.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the insanity of it all. Is that there are so many people, like there's been news reports how they're like, the left doesn't have Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. You're like, bro, they were left. They were the left.
Bro.
And you left them.
RFK Jr., Trump,
Tulsi Gabbard,
Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson. The list goes on and on. But all those guys were fucking Democrats 5 years ago. Well, Trump not so much, but like
lifelong Democrat.
Trump was a Democrat.
Bro, it's an insane thing, right? But that's why it's like we're in a situation with regards to this where we are told, as men, we're told that you have to process your emotions, but processing your emotions is not the same as how women do it, right? Well, men do it.
I don't think you gotta process your emotions. I think you gotta learn to regulate them. Why do you gotta process them?
I'll tell you why.
Like, the processing sounds like go to a therapist. Men don't need a therapist. Like unless you've been through some real shit like war, like some real shit that only certain men go through.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, I'll give you a pass. But most men, your biggest fucking like battle is your baby mama. Like, why do you need to go to therapy over some 5'3", blonde hair, blue eyed bitch? You know what I mean? Who makes you pay child support? Big whoop.
That is still traumatic. That is still traumatic. I'll give you that.
It's traumatic, but it ain't no fucking war zone.
No, well, this is the thing, right? Is that the majority of men are not, because when I say process, you're absolutely right. When it comes to women, that's go to therapy, talk about it, involve it in your daily life, and you're like, that's insane. Because as a man, if you do that, people are like, fucking this guy, what a loser, right? That's immediately. Someone's like, I feel, ew, you have feelings, gay, just immediately. That's right.
What's wrong with shooting pool, venting, talking some shit about what's going on at home with your homie, and maybe having a slice of pizza,
Bro, go for a nice walk with a friend, maybe have a coffee in a sketchy coffee shop. Me and
Exactly.
Walkie Talkies or Need do this regularly. We go and we just chit chat about stuff. You're like, yeah. Talk about Conan the Barbarian, also something we do, and Lego. Yeah, 100%.
Talk about cool movies and stuff.
Yeah, but that's the thing is it's one of those things where you're like, listen, you don't have to talk about your emotions to process your emotions, right? It's you have to validate your feelings internally and say, okay, well, how am I going to manage that? How am I going to experience those things? Because like, look, you still have to experience them, but that doesn't mean you have to wear them on your sleeve, right? That's the whole issue, because for all intents and purposes, that's what we're told is like, oh, you have to talk about your emotions. I do not want to talk about my emotions. I want to understand my emotions, process, and out the door. Just I poop them out. That's basically it.
A lot of times, I just want to make sure that my opinion or what I'm feeling, is like valid, or if I'm being a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, hey, so like sometimes I text you and I'm like, hey, so this thing is making me feel this way. And then I just want to hear all I want to hear is what you say.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, so I'm not being a bitch. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't need you to analyze, but no. Does this sound, am I like, I like to call it, and everything's okay. I'm like, am I crazy here? And they're like, no, you're not crazy. Be like, oh, okay, that's fine. I just need to know that I'm not out of bounds here, right? Also, Walkie Talkie Denise says, we do a purge. He's like, talk, not going on a killer stream. Maybe a little bit of both.
Put it like y'all don't do a bang bang.
I mean, just a little bit.
Bang bang.
Yeah. Just a little. So we talk while the murder happens. It's nice.
No, I mean, y'all go to multiple restaurants back to back to back to back.
Oh yeah, we're both fat. That's
Bang bang.
we go for a coffee, then a slice of pizza, maybe a sub afterward. Whatever.
I wonder what their croissants taste like.
I gotta try them all, right? It's the same rule of a fat guy. You can't just try one. You have to try a second one. Maybe the first one was a bad one. You got to make sure. It's just in case. Just they're like, but you said you didn't like. I'm like, well, I didn't like that one. I want to see if they're all that way. If they're all that way, then yeah, I don't like it. That's fine. That's reasonable, right? But that's why is like when something angers you, I think that's a valid thing. The problem is that people will in turn let that anger control them, and that's really what emotional management is, right? Is being able to experience your emotions, understand your emotions, and then let it go. Because
that's the big thing with me, where I'm like,
everyone,
am I supposed to be mad right now? I feel like sometimes I'm mad when I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And that comes from being gaslit. Like for 7 years. Yeah. I was in a relationship where I was gaslit constantly.
Yeah.
For 7 goddamn years. So like every time I had an opinion of something, it was wrong. So now it's almost like I'm like insecure about being upset about something. You know what I mean? Like,
and just so everyone knows, he is still consistently wrong, but we figured it out. It's fine. It's not. But no, okay. But that's the whole thing, right? We're always wrong all the time. That's fine. It's understanding that perspective of things, right? Is being able to stand there and say, hold on. Like I get this too. Is I get frustrated in a situation that I'm like, I shouldn't be this frustrated for it. Why am I this frustrated? And then I'm like, oh, you know what? Oh, it's from this other thing. I need to handle that. And now I can process this normal. Right. And that's like, even still, sometimes I'll be edgy for a whole day. And then I'm like, why am I so edgy? Like,
I feel like that too. I haven't slept everybody.
Well, then you're like, oh, I haven't had a good night's sleep in 3 days. Right. Like,
knowing everybody too. You're kind of doing it on purpose. No, I also have like an issue with feeling disrespected.
Oh yeah.
And if I feel disrespected, my shoulders will start vibrating.
Yeah.
Like you feel the anger down here. You're just like inside. Like you're just like, I am so mad right now. Like
Yeah.
I don't know where to do, and I cannot. Like almost like shutting down rage. Like I cannot do anything. I am so done.
So what happens with me is I just start to kind of square up, and then I just start to like just bounce my chesticles, just tick, 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 and just start bouncing my chest, just tick, 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 just flexing it, and I'm just like, because I'm trying to work through my feelings, and I'm just like, just breathe. You don't have to react, and that's like knowing. It's the same thing. Like statements do not require a response. Questions require a response. Requests require a response. Statements do not.
Yeah, not everything requires a response.
Right. And that's like, we've had this discussion where it's like accepting silence and enjoying silence is something that also comes with age and experience. But like I'll be driving in like one of Victoria's friends we hang out with a lot. And when we go out, she'll have the radio on like loud and then try and talk over the radio. And I'm like, and they'll ask me a question. I'm like, I can't hear anything you're saying. I'm like, I'm not participating in this conversation because you're insane. And every time like a buddy of mine, we'll go and we go for walks and talk and stuff like that. And he gets in the car and his radio's on and he'll ask me a question. I'll just go and just turn down his radio. And I go, did you have a question? I'd love to talk to you. And he's like, oh, sorry. I always leave it on. I'm like, yeah, why? I'm like, I'll drive in complete silence. No music, no nothing. And just.
I'll drive in complete silence while other people are in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not talking, nothing. Just enjoying, counting the trees and shit. Like, why does everything got to be?
Yeah.
I feel like those people are like not. They're like afraid of something. You know what I mean? Like they're feeling a void or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like I can't always. I do like my music loud, but after a while, I also like my silence, or I'll like a podcast. Or maybe I'll like to talk. But I can do all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do all of those things at once.
Why would you? Why would you do
that? Right.
And that's okay. Serge, also too, I get two red triangles that come up here. Like it's covered by my beard, but like this gets red when I get angry. And I'm just like, and people look at me and they're like, you okay? And I'm like, no, I am not. And
we got the red Hulks over here.
Oh yeah. No, it's one of those.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
I mean, that's factual. I get mean. That's why I'm like
my vein. I got a vein in my forehead, and that shit starts getting prominent when I get aggravated.
You know what? I knew a guy that had one on the side here, and like it would start going, and it looked like a worm, bro. It would just be like, blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, I got him going. Like
mine doesn't necessarily move. It just.
His did, bro. And as soon as I saw it flinch, I would just start hitting harder and just be like, hey, so do you tell me why you like retarded people? What's that? And he's like, I don't know. What are you talking about? And I'm like, maybe you're gay. That's okay. It's fine. You can tell me. He's like, I'm not. And just
yeah, right. I don't have to also be mad. I could just be like really stressed out too. Like just got a lot going on. Like with the apartment flooding, I told you about that. Yeah, no, this shit was prominent all weekend.
Yeah. Oh, I could totally understand.
It's all figured out now, though. So.
See, this is the frustrating part is like even okay, that Shabuzi song that I told you I had listened to that was quite good, and in it he's like, I don't think about my stress because I can't take it with me, and you're going, that's a good line because you know what?
Those are the greatest songs ever.
Oh, like that's the one thing that I really appreciate about good music is it always has some little nugget of knowledge where you're like, yeah, it's the Tipsy song where he's like, yeah, I let go of my stress because I can't take it with me. And you're going, honestly,
that's really what it's called though, by the way. It's called the Tipsy song.
Yeah. But his name is Shabuzi.
He's a country rapper.
He's a weird fellow, but I appreciate his music.
For sure.
But like that's the thing is like good music always has a nugget of solid fucking knowledge, and that's the big difference is like when you don't say anything and it's just like you're just clicking and being loud, it's not music. You're just That's ridiculous, right? But
Like,
that's why, like,
I'll give you another example, like a nugget of knowledge in one of the greatest songs ever. I think it was called I think it was A Millie by Lil Wayne, where he says, "Real G's move in silence like lasagna."
you know what? You started talking, and I'm like, this is gonna be some bullshit. And sure as fuck, correct, but still some bullshit, and you know it is. Yeah, no, that's the thing is, it's one of those things where like the loudest person in the room is definitely not the most dangerous. That's it. That's it. It's you don't have to be loud. You don't have to, and that's why like appreciate like Victoria and I will drive in silence all the time. And I've had people be passengers and like, are you guys okay? We're like, why? What? Like, you guys aren't talking, and I'm like, yeah, because we're driving. But like, yeah,
you guys are Gomez and Morticia.
A little bit. Are you sure that quote isn't said by Garfield? I mean,
probably.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, but his name starts with a G, and it's not in silent. So
no. But he loves lasagna. Jesus.
He does love lasagna. But
you were raised.
He's not a real G.
Right. Garfield's a real G.
He's not, because he's got to move in silence.
I don't know about that.
Real G's move in silence like lasagna.
I mean, that is a great line. I'll give you that. But no, but that's the thing is like that idea of like taking a deep breath when you're in a situation and stuff like that. You're like, those are good pieces of advice that a lot of people don't realize. When it sounds stupid is when people are like, 1, 2, and you're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Just do it. Fucking count in your head, idiot. Don't be stupid, right? It's one of those. I need 10 seconds, and you just fucking go read internally. You don't have to read out loud, jackass. Like that's why like people assume that they have to show you that they're trying to handle things. You're like, you're not. You're an idiot, right?
I gotta get better. I do. This is going to be some homework for myself moving forward, but I do have to take an active part in being able to regulate my emotions, manage my emotions when I'm already aggravated as something else.
Yes.
Because I don't try to take it out on people. I really don't. But if I'm irritated with something and then somebody comes over to me and is like, hey, I have a thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Leave me alone. Why are you talking to me right now? Like, I do that kind of a lot where I've made it obvious that I'm annoyed and I've expressed my dismay with the situation to everybody, and then people will still try to come to me, which, you know, for the lack of a better word, I'm a patriarch. You know what I mean? I'm a father. I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest son. Nobody's got a dad in this family. You know what I mean? So like everybody comes to me with their problems on top of my problems, and then I lose my shit. And I have to get better at that. That's something that I do have to get better at.
Bro, Serge dropping some knowledge. Everyone should reload the stream after 30 seconds. It boosts the chances of YouTube's just thank you, Serge. We appreciate that. Also, so from Kid Cudi, I love that song, Pursuit of Happiness. That is a fantastic line. I'm on the pursuit of happiness, and I know everything that shines is going to be gold. 100%. Serge with knowledge, appreciate it. But like,
appreciate that, Serge.
It's that whole idea. You've heard the story about a sparrow that's flying in the wintertime. And,
I haven't heard that before.
Okay, so if a sparrow is flying and it's wintertime, there's a storm, it freezes solid and it crashes to the ground. In that process, a dog comes over and takes a shit on it. Okay. Now, when that happens, because shit is warm. No. Because the shit is warm, obviously the bird starts thawing out. And then it's feeling fantastic. So it starts tweeting and singing because it's so happy that it's not frozen anymore. Because of the singing and the tweeting, a cat comes over, digs out the shit, sees the bird, and eats it. The lesson is, not everyone that shits on you is your enemy, and not everyone that gets you out of shit is your friend.
Okay.
It's fucking accurate, though. But that's the thing is, you're like, bro, if you and I have gone into it, and I've given you shit, and you've given me shit as well, totally valid.
That's another thing. Sometimes you and I will disagree with each other. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the friendship. Okay. You know what I mean? So
because we're not women. Let's be honest.
Right. You know,
right?
well, sometimes it's just like a different perspective opens your eyes a little bit and gets you out
Yeah.
of your own
Yeah.
like little. What? There's a word for it, echo chamber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And that's the whole time that we've been doing this together, right? Like you'll give me stuff that I'm like, are you sure? And you're like, it's working for me. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. And sure enough, it works. And I'm like, I hate that you're right, but thank you for the information. But that's the thing is, if I stood there and just didn't take it, I'm the idiot, right? But there's no reason
try
why I
anything,
shouldn't try and
right?
take
If it
yeah.
doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know.
And that's the thing is, if it doesn't work, that's fine. Like, look, originally when I was posting once a day, every once in a while I would do 2 a day, and everything would go to shit. And then you're like, bro, I'm posting like 30 times a day, and I'm like, all right, well, I gotta fucking, it's working for you. So now I'm trying to do 2 or 3 a day and slowly do more and just get comfortable with it because I'm like, I'm not in the process of coming up with stuff instantly, right? I usually ferment on stuff, but that's the thing is like going through that and learning that takes time. I'll send you a link to a video that shows you how to break YouTube. Just check. Absolutely. Thanks.
Oh yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Serge is on my Discord. So he sends me stuff all the time. And I do check it, Serge. I'm just dipshit. That's all. But thank you. You know. But
so
yeah.
there's one last thing that I did want to kind of, and this is going to sound kind of misogynistic and kind of haty on women, but that's not what I'm trying to say.
All right.
The most important part about managing your emotions as a man is there's a distinct difference between men and women. Okay, when women are a little bit softer, a little bit more delicate, a little more fragile, a little more effeminate than we are, and we like that in them, right? We can't be like them,
right?
That's not what they like. Okay, we can't be crying and in our feelings all the time. You know what I mean? Sometimes, a lot of times, we have to do. We have to make it seem like we're facing our own emotions alone, whether or not. Well, sometimes I can just come to you. You can come to me. Have a good close friend, and then we know. I'm not going to tell nobody about it. You know what I mean? Like that, and it just seems like you're taking it. You're dealing with your shit alone because women like that. You can't be. You're going to be looking like a bitch in front of women. You can't do that. You know what I mean? That's where it comes. That's where it's most important because women never forget what you did. They'll forget all the time what the fuck they did, but they never forget what you did and how you made them feel, you know?
Well, that goes back to the whole idea. If you compliment a woman on how she looks every day positively, she will not remember. But if you call her fat and ugly once, she'll never forget. It's just, it's that whole idea. Yo, Bam, Phil says it's time to get ready for bed. What is that?
I think you're calling me Bam for one. Bam Margera.
I mean,
Uncle Phil.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's the fat guy that you always wake up in the middle of the night. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine.
What's up, Jake?
But yeah, no. So that's one of those things though, where like the difference between men and women, which are numerous, if we are the same species at all, let's just call that as it is. But the idea is that we both need to process things differently, but we still, and I think that's one of the good things that is happening with today's environment is that people are like, no, you should process your emotions, you should experience that. They don't forget what they did. Oh, they pretend they don't, right? We just talked
You'll
about
never be able to prove it though.
Bro, we don't remember what we have for breakfast, Jake. Like,
yeah, come on, man. We got a lot of shit going on. We got jobs, we got lives, we got our women. I have multiple women. He has his one woman, for the record, just to make that clear. Victoria's watching.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Well, there was my basement where my apartment was flooded. There was Thanksgiving, family, all that shit. Come on, man. You think I remember what you said? Some faceless picture in the comments. Yeah. Come on.
Also,
I respect that you're commenting. Don't get me wrong, but I got a lot of shit going on, man.
The reminder helps, trust me.
Right.
But also still subscribe to both of our channels. Otherwise, God won't love you. But yeah, so like the difference is managing your emotions is one of those things that for men doesn't happen externally. It happens internally. Whereas for women, it happens externally because internally is a shit show. That's what people is interesting. Y'all are talking about this. I literally just completed a course on emotional management today for my end of year leadership and continuing education at work. I mean, how wrong was everything? Because I assume it's this.
Emotional damage.
basically what it was. I'm sure.
Yeah, but the difference is his course was written probably by women or
100%.
was approved by women. Where what we're talking about is two want to be self-improving men. Trying to navigate how to do it. You know what I mean? You're gonna get different opinions.
Yeah, and and you know what? Real talk, that's fair. Men's emotions are filtered through their mind, which is led by logic, rationality, and critical thinking. Women's logic is critical thinking, rationality is ruled by their heart, which is their emotions, which obviously makes no sense, right? But that's it's one of those things, and that's why, like, I am a firm believer that we are not even the same species. That's just male and female. That's absolutely ridiculous. Because some of the shit that women say and some of the shit that men say, you're just going, that doesn't fucking make any sense. This is just crazy. But yeah,
they get mad at you for thinking logical in certain situations. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, how dare you bring logic into this conversation? You're like, why wouldn't I? That's
right.
A quick and simple thing. It's the same problem that listen, for years Victoria and I had problems because she would bring up a problem. I'm like, oh, it's simple, just do this. And she's like, oh, I don't need a solution. I'm like, clearly you do if this is affecting you. That's that's it. But yeah, men or women are 100% built different, but to the point where our difference make us work better together. Well, we're counterparts, right? We are not the same. We are counterparts, and that's why like you are best suited for somebody who makes up where you're lacking, and you make up where they're lacking.
Exactly. That's why this whole like argument for equality drives me crazy. We're not supposed to be equal. We're supposed to be complementary.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a good point. Walkie-talkies are neat. I need a manual of how to manage my emotions built with Lego instructions. Most self-help books are IKEA instructions, and they suck. That's 100% accurate.
That's coming next.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you're like, people are like, oh, so what you have to do with this? And you're like, no, that doesn't make any sense. You're like, I'm already in a situation. I need step-by-step things. Step 1, turn to Goggins. Step 2, Jordan Peterson. Step 3, Real Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I mean,
that's exactly what this entire podcast, this show, Life of Giants, is predicated on, is those three men. Like, honestly, maybe a little bit of Andrew Tate because of me, but
Marcus Aurelius, right there. Boom. It's literally right beside me, and it's something that I touch on.
I think also we got to throw in Sun Tzu, because like,
absolutely,
dude knew how to face battles. Okay, because I take Sun Tzu's advice into life with me. Fucking the art of war, man.
Bro, okay, hold on. It's just so everyone realizes, behind me in this picture is Marcus Aurelius. Behind Cole is Sun Tzu. Just so you guys,
leaders. Those are our idols, man.
But this is it. Like, look, fucking make your bed and okay, here it is. Oh, hold on, there we go. Yeah, make your bed and stop being a bitch. That's 2 rules. Boom. And also 2, meditation by Marcus Aurelius. Guess what? You're gonna die. We're all gonna die. Suck it up.
So I don't make my bed and I don't fold my clothes. I just put my clothes.
I don't make my bed because scientifically it's better. A warm bed creates an environment that attracts bugs. So I don't make my bed specifically so bugs can fuck off. That's it.
I don't think it's because I'm lazy. Like I not even because I'm lazy. I don't understand the point of making a bed. Like, you make ridiculous. It to unmake it. That's how I feel about folding clothes. Like, I'm gonna wear them. Like, most people are like, well, what if they're wrinkly? I have an iron if they're wrinkly. Okay. Well,
so I fold, like, I'll hang up suits, dress shirts, things that need to be
important shit. Sure.
A pair of jeans, I don't give a shit. A t-shirt, also don't give a shit. Why the fuck? They're like, oh, your t-shirt's wrinkled. Give it 5 minutes. It'll it's fine. I literally buy shirts that don't wrinkle for that purpose.
I do iron my shirts every morning before I leave my apartment, though. I iron whatever shirt I'm wearing for the day, I'll iron it out before I go. It's actually kind of a cool routine.
Yeah. Hell yeah, great. Yeah, it's a great read. And you know what? It's hard to get through, but that's the thing, is men don't work on emotions, right? But that's the thing is, for us to grow, we have to understand how emotions work, because otherwise that gives an opportunity for emotions to control us, right?
Have you ever had a situation where you're like watching a movie or listening to a song that hits kind of hard and you just like for a half second a tear falls out of your eye? That happens to me all the time too. Like,
hey, this is one of the things, like, even it'll happen when I'm watching movies and stuff where I'm like, something happens and I'm like, fuck yeah. Right.
Well,
and
for
just
me, it's a flashback. Like, I'm not gonna, I'll have like a quick flashback of something that happened in the past. and because it reminded me of like PTSD, legit, like a quick PTSD like tear, and then I'm back. I'm back. All right, I'm back.
Bro, today I was driving and I turned the radio on. I was getting coffee, or I forget what I was doing. I was in the car by myself, and I was listening to a song, and I'm like, where do I know this fucking song? Because I'm like, I used to like this song, and then I don't like it now. Why do I? And then I was like, oh yeah, it was my wedding song for my first wedding. I'm like, I definitely don't like this song.
Hurts, bro.
I did, bro, and I just turned it off. I'm like, yeah, I don't fucking like that song.
That happened to me a week ago. I was chilling. I was driving in my car, and Kate McCannon by Coulter Wall came on, and it's a song about the woman he loved. He found cheating on her, so he shot her 3 times. He said, "I put 3 rounds in Kate McCannon." When he said that, like a quick tear rolled out of my eye because I was cheated on real hard, but real bad. You know, I'm like, oh, okay, change the song. Like,
100%. Do people with multiple personalities sleep in bunk beds? No, they sleep in multiple rooms. That's the key. It's all up here. No, but that's the thing is like being able to manage your emotions is kind of like the upper level of once you're like, oh, I have a feeling about this. You're like, okay, how do I deal with this feeling? How do I process it properly? And then how do I expunge it from my experience, right? I don't understand how when the whole thought process that women mature faster than men start. So this is an interesting point, real talk, because it's more so that it's has nothing to do with maturity, and it has more to do with breeding. That's actually where that comes from.
Before we do.
Yeah, they become breedable before men can breed them.
35.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Unless you're a genetic marvel, because then you got none, baby. Oh yeah. Dude, Cole, have you ever listened to Zach Top? I don't know who that is. No.
I'll check it out though. Was it any good? Is it country? I love me some country. I like all music really, but I've been on a country kick for about a year or two now.
Well, you know what though? But country is kind of still kicking it, and now there's let's be honest, a lot of black people singing country songs, and they're damn good.
Right,
it's bringing emotion.
Taking over.
Well, listen, there were songs like, okay, listen, I grew up with NWA, so fuck the police. That's a good song, bro. Like that's a real song. So whereas now you're like you listening to hip hop and rap, and you're going, that's not music. That's just you're just screaming. I don't understand what that is, right? And then
real G's move in silence like lasagna.
Fuck up with that shit. Yeah, he's old school country. Like that might see old school country.
All different variants of country.
Some. Think a young George Strait, but in the current era. I mean, I'd check that out. That's fine. But yeah, it's one of those things that's valid.
Check it out.
So you know what? We are going to continue this conversation next week because I think it's important. And
do part 2.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2 of emotional management. Just because we didn't really get to the whole.
No, Uncle Lucius, I don't want to play in the laundry room. My emotions
is the next part. It's just navigating that experience where everything. So, but yeah, no, listen, everyone, make sure you come back next week. We're going to try and, I'll be honest, it's my fault. I have, people visiting from out of town, so we're kind of all over the place this week. But things will iron out next week, and we'll have more shows coming, and we're going to start talking more about mental health, for men specifically, because it's fucking different, and that's how we do it. When's the next stream? So probably it's Hammered and Cheese is going to be on Saturday night, which is going to be awesome. And then so just keep an eye, make sure you subscribe, click the bell, that way you'll get notification when we're doing it. I usually will update in the morning first thing, and I'll also do a reel that will be related to the video. So if you always are checking that stuff, it always shows up.
Hit that bell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I do believe from an evolutionary aspect, 16 is technically breeding age. We've come to go more worlds where that makes it uncomfortable. Well, unless you're in Estonia, then it's 14. Or but that's one of those things, right? Like, so we are going to continue this conversation next week and keep on doing it. But yeah, no, we appreciate you guys, and yeah, we have more shows that are coming in development, and we've both had very interesting American Thanksgivings.
We got cooking shows. We got we talking about men's problems. We're gonna have a finance show. We're gonna be talking about fiction. In January, me and my sister are gonna be coming back to talk shit about bitches and hoes and men and the difference between men and women. We could be doing it all, man. So and then you
also
on Sundays, go ahead and
okay.
talk about your Sunday show.
Generation Dan is on Sundays, guys, which is more so just talking about generation differences and experiences on how we treat things. Mostly it's comedy, but we also have guests that are from local comedy groups and stuff like that. So, and as well, we are in development. Cole and I are on, I don't want to say a health kick, but we're trying to improve our health. So we are talking about working out and stuff like that. So please make sure you subscribe to all of our stuff, and we're going to do this. And, take a clip that we said something funny and share it to your own people. And by all means, we appreciate you. So you got them elves working hard this year. Somebody has to.
All the time, man. All the time.
If you ain't working, you're dying. Anyways, everyone, thank you very much for everything, and I will leave you with
emotional damage.
have a good night, everybody, and we will see you on our next stream. Later.
Later.